The quiet in the house this early in the morning is amazing. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's 8:50 a.m. and I got really inspired after reading a bunch of your comments on YouTube to create this video. This is a very, non-scripted video talking about how I keep this beautiful, crazy, loud family of mine in check. Together, not falling apart. I'm the glue. You guys are following kind of our journey, our lives, and I'm so happy to share it with you. I never thought that I'm gonna be in the business of sharing my business, but I must say I feel like I have this huge family. You are like my relatives that just live around the world, and I just keep posting and updating my social media so you guys can keep up with what's going on. I created a video I think like 2 years ago when I just started my channel about motherhood and me and balance and all that jazz, and I really wanted to make kind of an updated video about that, touching on some questions or comments that you guys ask and leave often. It's kind of a little us time to connect. I'm gonna start with basically talking a little bit about my evolution as a mother. I gave birth to Jake when I was 23. I had no freaking idea of what I was doing, 100%. Did I have any maternal instincts prior to that? No. I had an idea of the mother that I wanted to be, but I also had this really unicorn pink butterflies idea of what motherhood is actually. So I remember when I was pregnant with Jake, I would judge so many mothers around, and I think that's something that a lot of women and girls do. I would look around and be like, oh, I would never do that. I will never say that. My kid will never eat his boogers. And then I had a baby, and I think that karma has a wonderful way of teaching us lessons. That taught me a very important lesson, and that is to never judge another mother, ever. We all have our own little ways of dealing with this crazy journey of motherhood, and when I had Jake, I just really went through this, and I'm still going through it, through this journey of understanding who I am, who is my child, what is the best way to communicate with each other. We had kind of ups and downs, and every kid is different. I mean, Jake, Ben, and Max are all so different. Max so far is like, 6 weeks old. What can you expect from this perfect child? With Jake, it was very challenging because I was a kid. I had no idea what I was doing, and he was a very stubborn baby, and we just kind of had to learn how to do it. Also growing into the parents that we are. I mean, Gary and I, it's Gary's first child too. Yes, he's much older than me. He's 18 years older than me, but I'm his first wife, although he always tells people that he skipped his first wife and went to his second wife, which is cute. It's funny. I hope you get the joke. It was a learning curve for both of us to understand where we are as a couple in this parenthood world. We decided from the get-go to really make sure that with our kids, we are a united front. We try to, first of all, not to disagree in front of the kids, and always back the other parent. Jake or Ben will come and ask mom, and then if I said no, they'll go and ask dad, and they'll never tell, oh, mom said no. So we really always make sure that we know where we stand with our decisions, so our kids know they can't play us. Mama and papa are the same, and that's something that we kept practicing obviously as time kept on. We had Ben. With Ben, I was 24. Does that make sense? Wow, yeah, I was 24. So Jake and Ben, 17 months apart. I would say that the hardest transition was moving from 0 kids to 1 kid, because your whole world and everything you knew about yourself and how you were doing things and your routine, everything goes through. And then moving from 1 to 2 was more manageable because you already got used to the sleep deprivation and just like the chaos and diapers. As the boys are growing, I see more and more the areas where I want to focus on regarding discipline. I remember when I had Ben, I started reading all these parenthood books because I wasn't doing it with Jake. I was too like all over the place. So I started reading it with Ben, and every single book made me feel like a failure. And I remember after every book I would come and start crying to Gary, and Gary's like, can you stop reading this? There's no manual of how to raise children. Every child is so different. At that point, I started really trying to figure out how I want to raise them, how how I want, you know, the discipline to be. Something that I really liked about my childhood is that I had a lot of freedom to express myself, and I think that that was not a calculated move. I think it was more of a result where my mother didn't have time to be like a disciplined, you know, maniac. She was working all the time. She was a single mom, so it was very much of a you'll figure it out, and I did. So I kind of wanted to bring that aspect to the way we discipline our kids, because they have some traits, and I'm sure you see in the videos, that are absolutely amazing for the future. Very challenging right now, but I don't want to break that. So I think that for me, I'm always going to try to notice those beautiful aspects of them. If it's their stubbornness, or, you know, they won't, like Ben won't stop doing something until it's done right. It has to be perfect. And I know that right now it can be really annoying and everything, so much time, but in the future I think there will be such a strong skill. I want them to have a voice. I want them to disagree if they feel like they disagree. I'm not a big believer of this like super strict parenting, just because I want them to grow into their own individual self. For me, with the kids, the most important part is for them to be kind, for them to be conscious of themselves and their environment, for them to be hungry, and not necessarily like to make money or things like that. I want them to be passionate about something. I think it's very important in life to be an enthusiast. I really want to kind of develop that aspect of them. We kind of really do what works for our family, and I think that sometimes when I post vlogs or videos, people like to criticize certain things, or not even on my videos, even other family videos. The way your mother did it would not work for you or for someone else. I stopped making those comparisons, and I started understanding that, okay, for my goals and for my long term, this is what's gonna work. I'm all about working and having fun and spending time with the kids, but also not necessarily being there 24/7. I'm okay with that, because when they're teenagers, I know that they'll need me then a lot more. That's when they start experimenting and, you know, getting into different groups of friends. You know, I'm gonna be the mother that will be sitting outside of every house party, doing little random pop-ups into their schools, and just like be really, really annoying. Jake, Ben, and Max, when you're teens, I'm coming for you guys. For the young girls that message me and tell me that I inspire them to be a young mom, please relax. I think that for me it all really worked out because I started my life as a grown-up much earlier. I traveled the world and I was by myself a lot, which made me really honest with myself and made me learn about my flaws and my strengths. And I think that prepared me so well getting into this whole like grown-up family kids stage of my life that early on. So I truly encourage you guys to figure out who you are, what your values are, what you want from your life, and find a person that will have the same kind of values. I didn't plan to marry someone that is much older than me, but you know, life happens, and I know that I wouldn't be able to go through this journey with someone my age. That's the journey that I chose for myself. So again, there's really no right or wrong here. I think one of the best things about marrying older is that Gary comes with so much experience and wisdom. I think it really helps our relationship to grow, and it really helps to maintain the proper values and raise our kids properly. So I'm really grateful for that. As the kids grow older, my transformation as a mother, I decided that I want to lead by example. I want to lead by showing the kids that I take care of myself, that I respect myself, that I love myself, I put time into myself. So I share everything with them. I tell them that I go to the gym. I tell them about things that are going on at work, but like obviously the kids version. You know, I share a lot of things with them, and I love that they're interested in it. When I started doing YouTube, seriously, it started taking a lot of my time, and I started feeling really, really bad about it. With Jake, I was a stay-at-home mom. I was doing, I was with him all the time. With Ben, I was going to school for nutrition, but it was kind of part-time, and I was doing modeling, but it wasn't full-time either, so I had a lot of time to spend with him as well. And right now I got to a point in my life where I'm in the season of becoming and growing in the business aspect, and I decided that yes, I have so much mom guilt, but this can be a great example for the kids to see, how you create something, how you build something, and be proud of it. I stopped giving myself that guilt, and we kind of looked at what's going on in our lives. That's where we decided to start hiring help. We always had a nanny because Gary and I decided from the get-go that we want to make sure we have time for each other to keep enjoying life together. And you also have to remember that Gary is not a 30-year-old dad, he's a 45-year-old dad, so that's different. The patience is different. Having kids later in life, you already formed as a human and you have your ways, and it's very difficult to break those ways. So that's something that I was aware of when I decided to have children with Gary. As I started focusing on my business and we started growing other businesses together, we decided to look at all these things that we have going on with the schedule and with the kids and see where we can make it more efficient while not losing touch with the children. We found those pockets, and that's where we decided, we are able to afford help, so we're gonna get it. That way we can really have it all and focus on our business and enjoy our children and enjoy each other. And it's still freaking hard, don't get me wrong. Like, even when you have help, you're still a parent. No one can discipline my kids. No one can organize their schedules and make sure that everything is going smoothly with school and activities and all those things. There's still quite a bit going on. I stopped making myself feel guilty, and I've noticed that before I used to always say, but how did my mom do it? How did my mom do it? How does this mom do it? Because there's some older women when they meet you and they're like, oh, I did everything myself. But times have changed. I don't want to be miserable. I want to have a happy marriage. I want to be self-fulfilled, and I want to reach for the stars, and I want my kids to see all of that and enjoy the result of a mom that is happy in her own skin and in her life. That's kind of how I'm trying to build this whole system. And guys, let me tell you, it is so hard to keep this going smoothly. 3 kids, a husband, and then still focusing on my work and enjoying what I do. And I'm not complaining by any means. I feel so fortunate and so grateful, but it's hard, and it's fine that it's hard because it makes me better and faster and more efficient. Being a working mama, even with help, means that I'm gonna suck in certain areas in my life, and I think that that's where prioritizing comes into the picture. So I make sure that I prioritize what's really important. Sometimes my kids will have to have pizza. Sometimes it will have to be 3 times a week. I don't beat myself up anymore about that. As long as my kids are smiling and happy and kind and developing properly, we are good to go. Gian mentioned to me that we got a letter about registering a baby, and she reminded me that I haven't registered Max's birth. So the kid was like unknown until last night when I came home and applied for birth certificate. So priorities. It's only been 6 weeks, it's fine. He'll be recognized now as a citizen of Canada. You can have it all, but it has to be prioritized properly. I can honestly say that I'm still stressed out, and I often feel like a failure if it's at work or as a mother or in the department of kind of self-care. Balance is such a deceiving word because we can never really find that balance. That balance changes every single day. Kind of embrace the chaos and breathe really, really deeply. Have a cup of coffee or tea or whatever makes you feel good, and just take it day by day and step by step. I truly don't think that there's a way to do things. I think that some people can relate to me because they have a similar personality to me. So some people are really into, you know, the working mom and doing all these things. Other women that decide to stay at home and enjoy their kids, and it's such an amazing thing. Being a stay-at-home mom is an insane amount of work. I've had the chance to experience kind of all of them, where with Jake I was more at home, with Ben I was like kind of getting out there doing my own thing, and then with Max I'm kind of in a different place in my life. So I've kind of had all these seasons of experiencing having kids and becoming. I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying to learn more about myself with every child. Something that I've learned is that there's a season for everything. For me, keeping that in mind, I'm just trying to be present, and I'm trying to really enjoy of what's going on today and at this time in my life. I have a lot of moms that message me, or even younger girls that message me and say that through my content they saw that they don't have to be one specific thing. Because I think that with children there's still this misconception of, you know, you are a mother so everything else have to be canceled. We live in a wonderful time where you can be a businesswoman and you can have hobbies. This is kind of the modern woman, and I think that we really need to be grateful for that, because that was not the case for our parents or our parents' parents. I've been lucky enough to meet other moms throughout my journey of motherhood that I really adapted small little things from each and every one of them. I think that motherhood is such an amazing club to be part of. If you find those right mamas to stick to, it can be a really empowering thing. To all my badass mamas out there, we're all doing such an amazing job. Good for us. Cheers to us, mamas. What else? That's it. I think I covered everything. Okay, now I have to move on with my day. I'm excited to continue this discussion with you. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Have an amazing day.